But one of the points that I was making, I've totally forgotten what I was saying.
This is Princess Another Podcast.
That happens a lot.
What was my point? What were we talking about?
I don't know. Drama.
Oh, right. Right. And then I made the point.
Forgot to.
I made
just
the point.
Going off.
No, this is relevant. Stop. This is relevant.
I started not focusing, and I was instead looking at some of the knickknacks on your bookshelf and just looking at it and just oh, why does that bird have a gun on its back and is wearing skis? What is that? It looks like
person.
It's a little old lady who's walking up the hill.
Seriously,
she's going hunting.
It looks like the guys from Dark
village.
Crystal, not the Skeksis, the other ones.
How dare you?
Doesn't it?
She is the matriarch of her family. She deserves your respect.
How is that a lady?
It's a little old lady. She's got a gun. She's going hunting, and she's got skis.
It looks like the people from Dark Crystal.
I've never seen that.
Whatever.
I'm gonna find a picture.
I had a point.
Okay, I'm sorry.
My point is that I think, there's a lot about modern day society that we should be happy about. And I think one of the things that we should be happy about is that now people have all kinds of wonderful things to distract them. Like video games, for example, that, they didn't have in the past. Because in the past, if you needed to, get something to be excited about, you had to go start a war. And now it's or I could just play Skyrim.
True.
And join a virtual war.
Yes. And yeah.
Okay. You cannot tell me that doesn't look exactly like that little thing on skis.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, there's a resemblance.
Very closely. I wouldn't say exactly.
Look at that. It's even got a staff that almost looks like the gun.
I don't remember what this creature was called. This is not the Skeksis. I keep meaning to rewatch it. I actually, I took it off the DVD shelf and I set it next to the TV. That's how serious I am about rewatching it.
Well, we just bought you a brand new fancy copy.
I know, that's why.
I know. You already had a copy and we didn't know.
I know.
But this one's fancier because it works with your 4K TV.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh,
I'm probably gonna sell the other one.
Somehow they remastered it enough that it looks nice with a 4K TV, and it came out in the 90s.
It's interesting to me that I haven't seen it in so long because I think I watched it every day for 3 years. From about the time that I was 9 up until I was 11, and then I was maybe I'm too old for this movie. And then I figured out that you never get too old for the movie. The only part that's disturbing is when the Skeksis shun the one Skeksy and they rip all of his clothes off. No, they just rip his clothes off. It's still disturbing.
I'm pretty sure they eat him.
I don't think they do.
I think you're thinking
maybe I should do the Dark
Quest.
Crystal from memory.
Oh no.
I don't remember any of it. It'll be 2 minutes long.
Okay, so we have a YouTube channel. We haven't done as much with it as we had hoped.
But we will be.
We're working on it.
We're going to call it Princess in Another Video. We all have some video ideas, at least. I mean, we all have videos up now.
Yeah.
But we all have, ideas. We want to keep working on it. And Jensen's whole thing is she's doing stuff from memory because she has a terrible memory.
I have the worst memory.
Yeah.
That's why we have Jensen needs to do research corner.
Yeah.
Even if I do research,
we need
to
stop saying corner though.
No, okay.
It's just a correction, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just go back.
That's why, because even if I study it, if I do my research, it's not gonna matter because I have to have the research directly in front of me because my memory is too bad. Mm-hmm. I'm not totally sure what I'm getting at. I forgot what my point was as I was saying it.
There's a lot of that going around tonight.
Yeah.
Jensen did a video.
Yeah.
For Jupiter Ascending, everything that she could remember about Jupiter Ascending from memory. And I felt like you did a pretty good job.
I was shocked with how much of it I remembered.
Yeah.
Because I did not pay attention any of the times we watched it. I don't even remember how many times we watched it. Now it's been a ton, because cutting the video together, I had to watch it 3 or 4 more times.
In conclusion, that thing from the Dark Crystal does in fact look like the little knickknack on Erin's shelf, but I would say that the knickknack on Erin's shelf is definitely the cute younger cousin.
Yeah.
Of that creature.
Yeah. It's wearing a winter coat, and I think it has a maple leaf on it.
This is what the podcast is about now.
It's about my knickknacks.
Is it Canadian?
I want to know where it was made.
Is it Canadian?
I don't know. It might be. My grandpa gave it to me.
It's super cute.
It's super cute.
Oh. It was hand carved in Norway.
Aw.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yes.
Oh, she's such a
She's so
cutie.
spunky.
She straight up looks like one of those things, though.
I'm seeing it more now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that she's just got a
definitely there.
gun, like, stapled to her back. She's so cute.
Well, gonna try not to.
Don't bump the microphone.
I think I did. Sorry.
Erin, what are you playing right now?
I just started playing Persona 5 because I just keep hearing all this stuff about it and seeing videos. I really don't like turn-based combat. But I feel like this game makes up for it a little bit by adding some interesting aspects to the fighting. I could be totally off here because, like I say, I don't play turn-based games, but different enemies have different weaknesses, which
That's
is
totally,
that like a trope?
not only is that totally normal in turn-based combat, that's totally normal in all combat, Erin.
Well,
That's how it is with
But
all
no, but-
all enemies.
but if you trigger their weakness, you can like stun them, and if you
Yeah.
stun each enemy, then you can do what's called a
Okay.
hold up, and you can either ask them to give you money, an item, or you can have them join you and help you fight as a persona, which is
I think the way they executed in Persona 5 is unique, but the concept itself, not so much.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that part of like being able to like stun them and then go like talk to them, that could be unique-ish.
No, that happens in...
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it really?
Well, okay, I don't really
Oh.
play turn-based combat games.
I don't either, but I mean, that's kind
I
of how it is
really
in
only-
Undertale, which I'm playing.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I've-
okay.
Yeah.
Since
Like we said, we need to do research.
since when I was a little child and I played Wild Arms for a little while until I got furious that every time you fought someone, it changed to a new location.
You know,
Um,
it's just the same location regardless.
It made me so angry, even as a small child. But since that point, the only turn-based game I have played is South Park, the South Park games, both of them. And those I like because instead of it just being turn-based, you have to select your attack and then you have to do a different like button sequence, or like you have to hit the button at the right time or something in order to actually land the move.
Uh-huh.
And I like that kind
Yeah,
of
that's
because it's
really
still
cool.
active. I'm still doing stuff. I'm not just like selecting and then watching my character do all the work.
Right.
What seems
So.
to be unique about Persona 5 to me isn't necessarily that they're doing all new things with the way they're introducing the turn-based combat, but that they're kind of doing everything with turn-based combat. It seems
Yeah.
it just seems a little bit more involved. Like there's definitely turn-based games where you end up adding the enemy to your like arsenal. Like
Yeah.
I mean that's Pokemon. That's all Pokemon.
I mean,
And
yeah.
and
I forgot I
there's-
have played a ton of Pokemon.
and then there's like the whole mechanic with Undertale is that you're a lot of, I mean, depending on how you play it, because you can't just attack them and kill them, but you can also figure out what their weakness is that will essentially get them to stop fighting you.
Oh, okay.
And so like there's different ways that it presents itself in games. But I think what's interesting about Persona that I noticed when you were playing it and is that you have like so many options, and it kind of does a little bit of everything.
So
Yeah.
as
many
far as the turn-based
options.
combat goes.
I started to get a little bit like overwhelmed by them just watching you play it because I was like, there is so much happening on the screen that I can't follow any of it. I was
Yeah.
like, I assume this is something that you kind of get used to as you play it.
It is.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was just like, there's so much like visually stunning crap going on here. I can't.
And there's
I can't
butt
keep it straight.
statues that follow you around.
Oh my gosh. That place is horrific.
It's horrific, yeah. I hope the other places are not like that. And I hope the other situations aren't like that because it's horrible and just way too, way too real world for me. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to think about this. This is awful. So I'm trying to get past that as soon as I
I
can.
don't want to think about all the sexual predators in the world
Yeah.
who just get a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking that, but at the same time, I'm also like, I spent like 6 hours today listening to My Favorite Murder. And so I guess I do want to hear about that, but I want to hear about them getting caught. So, yeah.
Well, I'm working on bringing him down, so
Good.
justice will be served soon.
Tell me when it happens, because then I'll be happy.
Will do.
In that case, it sounds satisfying.
Yeah.
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 As long as he doesn't just, like, get off and you're just like, no, we were foiled.
Yeah. No,
'Cause
I
that would
don't think that's
suck.
gonna happen.
That wouldn't really
At all.
totally fit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a Japanese game. They could do anything they wanted, and it would just be like, it's a Japanese game. It's just what we do.
Well, I think there are two possible outcomes, and either way, both outcomes are bad for the bad guy.
Oh, nice.
One's just incredibly worse.
Do that one.
So I don't know how or if it will happen. I'm not sure. If it's based on my decisions, I don't really know. But yeah, like, I'm really enjoying the slice of life aspect to it. I love how stylish everything is and the color themes that are going on. Like, there are a lot of nods to the red and black theme. I don't know what significance that has yet, or if it's just a stylish choice. Could be.
It just looks really
It just looks
really
really
good.
cool. I mean, that menu,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
it is so cool. Like, I'll just sit there and play with the menu. It's so much fun. And I really enjoy the characters. Like, the main character is I mean, they're all pretty tropey anime characters,
Yeah.
but in a good way. And the other part I like is that I only have the option for the English dub, and it's not horrible and obnoxious. Like, I actually like their voices.
Except for Morgana.
Yeah, Morgana
Who you
kind of sucks.
complained about constantly while we were watching you.
Yeah.
Every time she spoke, I'd hear you go.
Or when it was her turn to fight, I'd be like, really? You kind of suck. But yeah, so far my only complaints are I do get kind of bored of the fighting, you know, I mean, even though it's kind of cool. And it's a little, it's kind of a pain in the butt, because from what I can tell of all of the fighting stuff, you do it all in what are called palaces. I won't go too much into it because it's Japanese. But it gives you like 14 in-game days to beat it, and so they make you use, like, you'll sit there. The first time I thought, oh, I won't use that many days, but like, you have to keep going back and like leveling up and going back to the real world and buying like potions and stuff, and then getting to different save points throughout the whole thing, and it's very tiresome.
I'm getting so stressed out just
Right?
hearing about this.
Yeah, like, I am so done with the first palace. Like, I just want to be done with it.
They drop you in this horrible palace in the first one? This, like,
I mean,
creepy sex
Yeah.
dungeon thing?
Yeah, but you can go back and forth between the real world and that world, which is the distortion of the bad guy's view of the world or something like that. It's real confusing because anime. So anyway, overall, I think I'm really enjoying it, and I'll stick with it just because style. And I'm interested to see what the other characters are like, and I'm excited for romance options and stuff like that. So yeah.
Are you gonna romance the cat?
Absolutely not.
I assume that you can't, but
I assume there's a fanfic.
just the fact
Oh,
that
I'm
we
sure
had
there is.
that weird miscommunication
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
It's like, you can romance the cat?
I don't think you can.
That would be interesting.
I
I don't know.
I haven't heard much about this game besides that it's fun, and then spoilery stuff that I won't say.
All I've heard is that it's pretty, and then I saw it today, and it is pretty. It's
Very
really pretty.
Yeah.
So what are you playing, Jensen?
I, of course, have still been playing Anthem, and we need to get together and play some more with our friends. I've also been playing some more Kingdom Hearts 3. It's still enjoyably corny, so that's good. I hope that doesn't change. I just finished the Tangled world. Corona. Yeah, it was cute. Aww. The only thing that confuses me about it is oh wait, no, I'm getting it mixed up with the kids show that I watch with Karen. I was thinking of Sophia the First, and I was like, how come Rapunzel still has her long hair in that? But then she talks about the events of Tangled, like they already all happened, like everything happened. But she's got her long hair. Like, why doesn't she have short brown hair? But no, I'm getting it mixed up. Kingdom Hearts doesn't confuse that. I was a little bit like, wait, how am I still going to be able to get to the places I need to get to if Rapunzel's hair is short? Because we used her hair to swing to places. But then I went back there and I was able to just get back there. They just made it possible for you to get to the places you couldn't get to before without her.
Just solved the problem.
Yeah, so that wasn't a problem at all. I do have to say the one thing that kind of bums me out, that's like the difference between 2 and 3 and 1 is that 1, you'd go to these worlds and you'd have like a separate story that wasn't necessarily following the original source material. You know, it's like in Halloween Town, you're just like, I think they just like found some Heartless and decided to try and make them dance for the Christmas parade or whatever they were doing. And it's like it kind of connects with the movie, but it's not the exact storyline. And in 3, like, and 2 also, but you know, 3 does it even more. You're just going through the story of the movie with Sora, Goofy, and Donald there, and they're fighting Heartless. And so you just go through the events of Tangled and everything's the same except Sora, Goofy, and Donald are there and they're fighting Heartless. And I don't really love that. Like, it doesn't really bother me too much. I can get over it. But I am just a little bit sad about that because I kind of miss it being more, you know, like loose storytelling. Like, whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm getting at. But yeah.
I think I understand what you're getting at.
Okay. Yeah. That's the one thing about it that's kind of bumming me out, but it's the same thing that bummed me out in the last one, except this one, it doesn't bother me as much because there's just less about the game that bothers me overall. Okay. And then I also started playing Far Cry New Dawn, and I really, really love it. It's a lot like Far Cry 5, especially like the gameplay is practically the same because I mean it's a Far Cry game, so it's like, you know, you have guns and you run over and you take over this outpost and then you go take out another outpost and you know, after you reach a certain point in the story you kind of get pulled into a fight against the bad guys and like, you know, but overall I think I like it a little bit more than Far Cry 5, particularly because the visuals are just great. It's like the first time I think I've ever, like, I can ever remember seeing an apocalypse depicted as being like prettier, you know? Normally in stuff when it's like, you know, the apocalypse hits and then it's like everything's all gray and bleak. And this one it's like, the apocalypse happened. Now everything is pink and neon and super bright and colorful and it's really gorgeous. It's a bit like Annihilation.
Oh, okay.
Like the world inside Annihilation, like in that little the place. That's how Far Cry New Dawn looks all the time.
Yeah, I loved that juxtaposition of all of that like existential dread with like this beautiful, rich environment. Yeah. Annihilation's a good film, guys.
Yeah, it is really. But that's very much how Far Cry New Dawn feels. It's just like really bright and colorful and pretty, but then it's like, you know, we all lost our homes in this horrible like nuclear explosion and, you know, now we've got to rebuild and like we're killing each other, society's all messed up, you know, stuff like that. But it's so pretty. Plus the photo mode is fantastic. I love it so much because they let you like, they do a little bit more to give your character some personality than in Far Cry 5. because your character in Far Cry 5, like, you never really saw them. They didn't show up in movie scenes or anything like that. Like, you were in their head, you know, the whole time. And then in photo mode, you could see your character, but they was just like standing in like the ready position, and they looked kind of dumb. You can do like a variety of poses and facial expressions, so you can get really get a lot of emotion from your character. And I like to pose my character next to their companions and stuff, and like photobomb people, and it's a lot of fun, and it might just be my favorite photo mode of any game. Yeah. It's definitely up there. If it's not number one, it's like high up on my list. I really love it. I've taken like hundreds of pictures with it now.
You heard it here first. High praise.
It's really good. I even like it better than the photo mode that I've gotten to play a little bit of with Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
You've let me play with yours a little bit. And that photo mode is really nice, but I think Far Cry New Dawn is just a little bit better. It's really fun. My favorite thing to do with it is tree pose. I like to jump onto like really weird structures or really high up things or stuff, and then do tree pose. It's like you can get some really entertaining pictures out of that.
Nice.
So yeah. Ailsa, what are you playing?
Nothing. No, I have had a bad couple of tax weeks in tax season.
Yeah.
It's been a little rough for me. All the games I really want to play right now are really heavy narrative-based games, and I feel like I just don't have the energy when I get off work to deal with anything like that. And so I was trying to play a bit of Sekiro over the weekend, and I managed to beat a boss, and I got to the point where I was like, oh, there's more story unfolding, and then I was like, I can't. Like, I was just tired. I was just so tired, and it made me really sad because, like, I couldn't enjoy it. I was thinking about all the work I had to do.
Oh,
it's the worst. I hate tax season, you guys. So I just decided that I was like, you know what? I just need to wait until after this is all over. I've just got a few more days, and then I can hopefully enjoy myself again. So I haven't really been playing a lot of my fun, heavy, like, narrative games that I wanted to. Instead, what I've been doing is to unwind at the end of the day. I typically just like lie there on the floor and play Minecraft for like an hour or two. Yeah. And like that's pretty much it. That's it for me in gaming as of this week and most of last week too. Because I just can't handle it right now. And Minecraft is kind of mindless. Like, you know, it's just adult Legos.
It's very therapeutic.
Or not even adult Legos, just like virtual Legos. It's very therapeutic.
I used to, when I was in college and working on campus, I used to sneak away for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time just to play a little bit of Minecraft on my phone when I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. Like I've never really played in survival mode before, but we have a realm now that a friend of ours started, and it's in survival mode, so like I'm properly playing the game now. And even though it's in survival mode, it's still like pretty zen for me. Like, I don't really get all that upset even when I do.
Even when you do break open a wall and like 50 spiders pour out on top of your head?
Yeah, even when that happened, I was just kind of like, oh no. Like, you know, it was, I was like, that's inconvenient. Like, I don't know. It's just, for me, it's just a fun time. I don't know. I don't feel too emotionally invested in staying alive because I feel like getting killed over and over again is sort of part of it.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I've died in all kinds of interesting ways. It's been pretty entertaining.
And what are the skeletons? Part of it. I was afraid that too much time had passed from when you said part of it to when I said that for it to be funny. But apparently it worked for Erin. So I'm satisfied.
I did not know where you were going with that. But I'm so glad I could be with you on this journey. This is just Blair smiling at Jensen like, what
what are you getting at?
I was like, well, I don't know if you know this, but what I was thinking to myself was, don't do it. I like that Erin describes it as glare smiling, because that's what it feels like.
I can't even remember what you were talking about before this happened.
I was done.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I had to. I heard the words part of it, and I was thinking of Minecraft and skeletons.
Ow! Ow! Oh, my stomach.
It's very late, and our recording has stopped working about 4 times tonight. So maybe that explains what's going on right here.
Oh man,
I have to take a drink now, but I can't breathe.
we've had so much recording trouble. We probably would have finished by now if we hadn't had any.
That's true.
Oh.
So, Jensen, you recently changed your gamer tag. How did that come
You
about?
mean my PlayStation ID?
Whatever.
They're different things. Gamer tag is on Xbox, and you could always change that. Well, okay, for like years. But PlayStation ID, they finally made it possible to change it, like... Was it before yesterday, or was it yesterday, Erin? Keeper of knowledge and research.
I think it was yesterday.
Okay, well...
I will explain why I do not know that and do not care. But first, explain why you do know that and
Okay.
do care.
So, I've never like really disliked my PlayStation ID, but I named it after my first Shepherd that I played as in Mass Effect, and that character, I did not play her as me. I didn't make choices I would make. I made choices that I felt like she would make. And so the tag, like the ID never really felt like my ID. So I've been wanting to change it for a while now, like a couple of years. And it's just not been possible. But they finally released the update, so it made it possible to change it. So, of course, I changed it right away. And they said that there were like a whole bunch of possible problems that could happen, like you could lose save data or trophy progress, and there could be like a whole bunch of things where it shows your old username in games, like in multiplayer stuff. So last night I went through and I tried nearly every single one of my games, all except like 6 of them, and like 4 of those are ones that came out in the last year, so they should be fine. But all the ones that I did try, I surprisingly found no problems. It was kind of amazing. I'm like knock on
Like,
wood.
you're
I'm
usually-
really scared. I want to knock on wood now.
There's no wood anywhere in this room. Just...
Erin, hand me a guitar.
No. Don't knock on the guitars.
Okay. I'll just save it for later.
Basically, you usually are sort of karmically cursed by this sort of thing.
Yeah. Actually, no, you're the one who's karmically cursed by everything.
Is it just me?
I feel like I'm the one who, if my life was Fallout, my luck would be like an 8 or a 9 most of the time. But it drops if I'm wearing white.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm probably like a static 2.
Zach's probably a -10.
Poor Zach. He does have a lot of weird stories.
Oh, yeah,
and
he
just
does.
bad luck in general.
I feel like every time we go somewhere with Zach, if something weird's gonna happen, it's gonna happen specifically to him.
Yeah. Or if
Yeah.
if they're gonna forget our food, they're just gonna forget his food.
It's
If
always
anyone's
his.
food is gonna get forgotten, it's gonna be his.
Yeah,
Yep.
every time.
If
Yeah.
anybody's gonna have water poured into their not water glass, it's gonna be him.
Yes.
It's like, that was right.
But
Like 5 times.
But so I tried all my games, and I didn't notice any problems. I even tried Grand Theft Auto 5, and I remember reading on the list that they said that was one where it might show your old gamer tag. And I tried that one out, and I loaded up multiplayer, and my new ID not a gamer tag. My new ID was showing up. So that one I didn't have any problems with either. The only thing I found, I'm not even sure that it has anything to do with the PlayStation ID. When I loaded up Uncharted 3, I found that my save file said that I had 31 treasures found, but I had completed 1% of the game, and I was in chapter 1, and I didn't have any other chapters unlocked.
Huh.
And I was like, that's weird. I beat this game. And I don't know whether it just, like, beat it and it, like, instantly restarted it and just, like, deleted everything that I did. I don't know why it would do that. I didn't do that with the other Uncharted games. But that might have been a problem. I don't really care if it is, because I was going to restart that on anyway. So, and as long as it remembers what treasures I did find, which it does, then I don't see a problem. But the ones that I was really concerned about, Infamous 1 and 2, those ones are working fine. I still have all my progress. I still have all the stunts that I got and everything, and all the trophies that I got. And Far Cry 5, which they said any game that came out after, I think, April 1st of last year was safe. Far Cry 5 came out a week before that. So I was like, is it safe or not? Like, it's really close to the time. And I had the season pass, and I was like, if I lose all that DLC, I'm going to scream. But it looks like I've got all the DLC working fine, and everything's good with that. So, so far, it has been a fruitful venture for me. I'm really excited to have my new PlayStation ID.
Yay.
Phone? Shut up, phone.
Some of us are professionals here.
It's just doing its job. I love my gamer tag. It's the same on PlayStation or Xbox. That's why I call it a gamer tag, because it's the same.
Except
one of them has an I and one of them has an EY, and I don't remember which is which. I don't remember which is which.
Your Xbox One is the one with the I.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to make that one for you, and it was not...
available or whatever.
No, it couldn't fit the number of letters.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, it was one letter too long.
Well, yeah.
So we did an I instead of an EY.
So the story behind my gamer name, Space Monkey Salsa, with either an I or an EY, depending on whether it's PlayStation or Xbox. So the story behind that is that I just couldn't come up with a name years ago, and so I finally just basically turned it over entirely to my little sister, who is
Lainey.
Surprisingly good at naming things. She is Lainey. Yes.
Sorry. She's really good at coming up with things. She came up with my new gamer tag / PlayStation ID too, which is Leo Goes Grr.
Yeah,
It's good.
Okay. So my nickname for a long time growing up was Salsa, and the Space Monkey part of it, I'm pretty sure happened because shortly before I left on my mission, I wrote a children's book for her that had all kinds of weird characters in it and like really strange poetry. It didn't really make any sense. I still have it somewhere. It's great. I love it. But like, it's weird. And it was all like poems about these creatures. Like there was the sun kitty and the cloud puppy and the moon bunny. And it was just weird poems about these strange eldritch abomination gods just floating around in space with cute names and Peter Max drawings to go with them. Peter Max-esque, I should say. I didn't get Peter Max to illustrate my book. That would be insane. I just did it myself and copied him heavily. But like, I came back from my mission, and it was shortly after my mission that she came up with the name, and I think she was just like, it's because I had come up with a couple of new characters while I was out on my mission, and one of them was this weird looking monkey, and I think she just was like, why don't you use Space Monkey Salsa? And I decided I love the crap out of that name.
It's great.
And so that is my name now and forever. I don't ever plan on changing it.
Yeah. I don't think you need to. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll change mine either. It's Stop the Violins, like the instrument, 13.
It's so good.
It's great. And I have to give credit to my mom for that one. Because when I was trying to come up with a new email address years ago. She's like, I really like Stop the Violins. And I was like, I'll take it. And I don't know, it's kind of funny because sometimes people are like, do you hate the violin? And I'm like, no, I play the violin. It's just a play on words.
It's
Calm
like,
down. Don't call me
stop
a
the
violin
violence.
yeah. So yeah, I don't think I'll change it. But I am super curious to know what name Lainey would give me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've heard so many great things about her naming abilities.
Yeah.
She's pretty good.
Yeah.
She came up with about 10 for Jensen that were all killer.
Mhm.
Yeah,
When
but
we were trying to come up with a name for her.
yeah.
And most of them were taken already, which is too bad.
Sadly.
Aw.
Yeah.
But Leo Goes Gur was not.
I
I love that name.
I think it's
I
great.
think it's perfect.
And it's Gur spelled like Gur on
On Invader Zim.
Invader Zim.
GIR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, what's our next question? Sorry,
I forgot.
I put my outline down because I was just kind of listening to you.
I've put my phone away in anger earlier. So.
Okay, so our first question this week. This is a little bit similar to the question we did last time, but it's different. I promise. So instead of what would your final form be, like what would you be as a boss, this is just what kind of enemy are you? And I would say that this differs from the final form question in that the final form question is a little bit self-aggrandizing. It's a little bit like, tell us how awesome you are, tell us how you defeat your foes. But with the what kind of enemy are you, it's time to be a little bit more realistic here. It's time to be a little bit more self-deprecating and talk about like actually what sort of a grunt just like enemy are you in a random fantasy RPG or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can go first. I've decided that I would definitely be like a sort of plant-based enemy with like a really, really low aggro. Like I don't go out looking for fights or anything, but if you trip over me, then I'll probably like poke you in the ankle. But then my health is like real low. Like I probably am a one-hit kill sort of thing. And you could just wander through a field and run into like 20 of me and slaughter them all. And it's probably like you're probably only gonna die if you already had really low health. But like basically I'm just like not really there to fight. I'm kind of just minding my own business. But obviously, since my purpose in this game is to trip you up, then I will put minimal effort into it.
You'll like lift a root, just
Yeah.
to like literally
Yeah.
strip the player and
Yeah.
then put it right back down. Be like, that's enough of that.
But then I'll get slaughtered because they'll be like, "Oh, it tripped me."
Turn around and just like stab you, and you're
I'll
like,
just be like, "What
"Oh,
the hell,
no."
dude?" I'm that enemy.
Yeah.
That's me. You know the type.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just point out that your note was auto-corrected to low afro?
Yeah, I know.
Instead of low aggro.
confused. I saw that and I was like so annoyed, and it was one of those things where I was like, I should go back and correct that, and I was like, I don't have time. So I just...
I was really confused when I read it. I was like, a really low afro? What?
No, low
I was like, is this like something to do with her hair? Like how, I don't know.
Yeah.
You used to kind of look like Hermione because it was so wild.
Because I had big teeth that
and
were
crazy hair.
and crazy
Yeah.
hair. Yeah, and I was always reading.
Yep. All right. Am I going next?
Yes.
Okay. So I would be like a really sneaky enemy, like the kind of enemy where you're just walking around and then this stupid stealthy enemy walks up and just like smacks you and is like, hey, and then you just like instantly kill them because they're not very difficult, but they're just kind of an annoyance. Like I'm specifically thinking of like the Genlock rogues from Dragon Age, how you'll be walking around and then you'll kind of hear them giggle. Like it's like a darkspawn giggle, so it's like and then you'll be like, oh no, and then they pop out of nowhere and then you have to kill them, and it's like, it's really not hard, but they're just really frustrating. I feel like that perfectly fits me because I could see myself being just like a sneaky enemy, but then I'd be like I just like start giggling because it's so funny that I'm sneaking up on you, and I'm probably just gonna go up and like slap you on the back of the head, and it's gonna do nothing. So, yeah,
That's great. Let's see. Okay, so with mine, I'm not very sporty, but I do love the water. So I feel like I'd be like an Octorok or something and just kind of annoyingly shoot pebbles at you, but I would have the aiming abilities of a stormtrooper.
Yes.
Because I have terrible aim. Like I said, I'm not sporty at all. So yeah, just one of those
enemies where you're not even really sure it's an enemy because you're like, is it just like throwing rocks?
Yeah, it's like, it's just like mad that I'm here.
No, that mildly broke my concentration.
Beautiful.
Yeah, not threatening at all.
Okay. So now we come to the game that we're going to play. And this was inspired by, I haven't watched it, but I guess there was a recent video on PlayStation Access where they did this.
Mm-hmm.
And it does seem like a fun idea. So we're going to do 2 Truths and a Lie video game edition.
Yes.
So I'll go first. I'm going to tell you guys 3 things. And this, can I just emphasize first before we start? This was an incredibly difficult assignment for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we all really had to think about it, I think, for way longer than we realized, because we have known each other forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we recalled recently...
We've known Erin for slightly less time than we've known each other.
Yeah, and we're
sisters.
Yeah.
So
Since like 1995 or 6.
Yeah, something like that.
So
like
over 20
5
years.
or 6. Yeah.
That means that when we met, I was 8 and you were like 6.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. It took me a minute to do the math.
And Erin was 2.
Okay.
Did you say I was 2?
I said you were 2. Like 5 or 6.
Oh, okay.
Erin.
Also-
Don't correct my English.
Erin was 2.
Erin was 2.
No, Jensen and Erin are the same age. I'm 2 years older.
Yes.
Yeah. But we've known each other since we were very young.
Yes.
And so it's really hard for us to come up with anything that we don't already know
Yeah.
about
And we talk
us.
about games with each other like
All
the time.
Yeah, so it was
And we're
just-
constantly telling each other what we're doing in games.
So like I don't know if I managed this. We're gonna find out right now because I'm gonna go first. We're gonna see if I can successfully trick you guys into believing one lie about my video game history. Okay? So, here are my 3 things. I once had a dream that I was Sexy Kitty from Saints Row 3. I have logged more hours playing Minecraft than any other game. And my first video game crush was Chun-Li. Those are my 3. So
Okay.
which one is the lie, guys?
I think it's the second one because I think you've logged more time in Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
Damn it!
It was really close because when I first read that, I was thinking about how much you've been playing Minecraft, and I was like, I could believe that, but then I was like, I don't know. She's played a lot of Dark Souls.
Yeah, okay. So actually, Dark Souls is not my number 1, though.
No?
No.
Is it
Really?
Stardew Valley?
Yes, it is.
That was my next guess.
Because I was gonna say I've logged more hours playing Dark Souls than any other game, but I was like, oh, that's not really realistic, though. I'm sure they don't actually know how much I've played Dark Souls.
Oh.
And I was like, I'll do Minecraft because, you always log a lot of hours playing those kinds of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, Minecraft is actually my number 3.
If you had put Dark Souls instead, then I would have guessed the Chun-Li one because I have distinct memories of you telling me about that sexy kitty dream.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was hoping that maybe you had forgotten that or weren't listening in the first place.
No, because it was
Yeah.
hilarious. So of course I was paying attention.
I had a real fun Saints Row 3 dream once. And it was like my boss character that I was playing as for that Saints Row 3 playthrough I did the Cockney accent, and he was like, you know, big old, like 6'6" dude, and he was just full of muscles and covered in tattoos. And he was just really, I was having a real fun time, like role playing as this character and just being not me at all. Just being a huge, scary, tattooed Cockney man. And
It was voiced by Mr. Sheffield in The Nanny.
I know, and I love Mr. Sheffield.
Mr. Sheffield.
No, and but then I had a dream that we were wreaking havoc all over Steelport, and I was Sexy Kitty, and I looked damn good.
Yeah.
It was great.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
And then the last one, yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody's surprised by that.
No.
I did debate for a while whether it was Vega, Chun-Li, or Rio, but I think it was Chun-Li.
Yeah. I'd believe any of those, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, honestly, you could call it a three-way tie,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure Chun-Li was the one who I was like really enamored with.
I think Vega was mine.
Yeah, I could see that.
You couldn't see what his face looked like, so there's a lot of mystery.
Yeah.
He had claws.
I get
Sometimes
that.
he'd crawl around on the barbed wire fence thingy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or whatever it
Jensen's
was.
turn. Let's see if you can trick us.
Okay, so I own 6 different copies of Skyrim. I rented 2 Worlds, hated it, bought it, hated and sold it, then bought it again, and I still hate it. And I've never played Morrowind without using cheats.
Ooh,
Okay, this one's kind of hard.
this is hard.
I'm gonna say,
I honestly believe the Skyrim one
yeah, I do too.
because I own like 3 or 4 copies myself.
Well, I can think of at least 3 that I know you own. But I would not be surprised if there were more that I'm just not aware of for whatever reason. And I'm pretty sure the thing about 2 Worlds is true just because it's so absurd.
Also, you have a bad memory, so
Yeah.
you could have been like, hey, I think I like this game.
Jensen has this amazing problem where she maximizes cognitive dissonance to the point, she minimizes cognitive dissonance to the point where she doesn't remember unpleasant things. Like, I once watched her buy a horrible Tesco sandwich and eat the entire thing, complaining about how disgusting it was the whole time. And then, like, 2 days later, we went to, like, the same Tesco, and she bought the same sandwich because she didn't remember that she didn't like it. And then she ate it again.
I don't remember what sandwich it was at all. I have very little memory of that.
I think it was something where it was like, what were you expecting? That you were gonna like the Tesco tuna sandwich or like egg salad? It was something like that.
No. If it was egg salad, then I loved it. I've never had an egg salad that I didn't like.
Well, in any case, Jensen does have this problem where like she will forget how unpleasant things were and then just do it again because she's just so determined to be like cheerful all the time that she just deletes unpleasant memories. Anyway, yeah, so that second one I'm pretty sure is true too. The last one, I don't know, because you don't use cheats very often. And also that's kind of a brag, so I'm gonna say that's the one that is false.
Are we talking cheats or mods?
Like cheat codes.
Cheat codes.
Because I've used mods in all kinds of games.
Oh, I was thinking just
That's
like
different. Like,
I was thinking just like looking up cheat stuff.
oh no, I do that for a lot of games.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
looking up like oh.
But not for like a lot of these older RPGs, you don't.
I'm talking like cheat codes.
Oh, okay, for
Okay,
cheat
let's
codes.
think
Because
about-
Morrowind is back from the time of cheat codes.
So you could have Skyrim for 360, for Xbox One,
And she's got it for VR.
PS4 and for VR.
So that's 4.
Does she have one for just PS4?
Does she have? Oh, do you have it in your gaming PC too, don't you?
Oh, gaming PC.
So that's 5.
But does she just have VR on PS4, or does she have Skyrim for the console itself?
She has Skyrim for the console itself too.
Okay.
That's what I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay,
I
is it
don't
that you
forget-
have?
No, I won't say.
I think, and then there's the remastered. So there could be 2 for 1 console. So I'm gonna say Morrowind is the lie.
I'm gonna say Morrowind is the lie. Did we trick you?
It's Skyrim. I only have 5 copies.
Dang it!
we sat there counting all your copies.
Yeah.
So I have 360, VR, 2 on PC, because I've got the regular one and the remastered.
Oh yeah,
And Switch.
then the Switch,
And the
right?
Switch.
Because I knew you had it on the okay.
But no, the Two Worlds one is absolutely true. I don't know why I keep buying that game. I hate it so much, you guys. It's so dumb.
Oh my gosh.
And the Morrowind one is true because I don't know what the deal is. I can't seem to not die unless I use the cheat that makes my health instantly refill as soon as I take damage. So I've just never been able to play that game without using that cheat.
Well, it's from that era.
I think
It's the way to play it.
I don't have the code memorized in a way that I could like say it, but I think that the muscle memory is still there. So I think I could even like type it in still. I think it was black, white. No, I don't remember now. But you have to like go back and forth on the bumpers. Yeah. Unless you're playing on the one that has a little black and white button and then you press it down there.
Yeah.
Okay, Erin, you're
That's
up.
funny.
Yeah.
All right. So, the first time I played Thief Deadly Shadows, I was so terrified of Shalebridge Cradle that I just put the game down for weeks. And my second one, while playing the Obi-Wan game on the original Xbox, I would listen to the Hippos Heads Are Gonna Roll album on my Walkman. And I got so good at, like, I did that so much that I would end up at the exact same spots during certain songs. So I, like, knew what song was coming when. I mean, besides having this... that sounds... I'm sorry, that sounds...
No, I totally get it.
Yeah. I knew where I would be when...
I get it.
Yeah.
Different songs would play. Anyway, my third one... for Unreal Championship, I always played as the Gen Mokai or the Gen Mokai. I don't know how you say it. Race. And on like the Gen Mokai capture the flag level, I would send my whole team away to get the flag while I guarded the base. And like I would just sit there because I loved pretending that I was my character and I was like this regal warrior like defending my home base.
Oh no, Erin's good at this.
I was like certain that the first one was true, and then when you put out the second one, I was like, well, that one's definitely true. And then the third one was like, that one's gotta be true. Erin, did you forget the rules? It's 2 truths and a lie.
I did not forget the rules. There's a lie in there.
Okay. I am gonna theorize something. I think it's gonna be something like
It's gonna be something small.
Yeah, it's gonna
like
be
one part
something
of it is a lie.
it's
Like
gonna be
she
something
didn't
like-
wear headphones when she listened to the Hippos. She listened to it on a speaker.
or was it a Walkman? It was an iPod.
Yes.
Or like it wasn't that particular game. It was a different game. Or
Is there even an Obi-Wan game?
Yeah.
There is.
I don't know this game.
Yeah.
He would throw his lightsaber and be like, defend yourself. Like, yeah.
Okay, well that's definitely
Most-
not made up.
The most terrible voice actor
Yes.
ever. Like,
Okay.
he'd be like, I'm not sure.
It's gonna be something like that, though. It's gonna be something. See, we should have watched the video.
Oh
We're
my
really
gosh.
bad at this. I'm not a good liar. Jensen's okay, I guess. But like, it's gonna be something. Because they all sound really true.
No. Or she's gonna be like, she didn't play as that race, she played as a different race.
It's probably gonna be
It wasn't
that.
capture the flag at all.
It was soccer.
It
It's
was
gonna be
soccer.
something
She's
like
too
that.
good at this.
It's gonna be something. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna say there's something off about your capture the flag story. I'm gonna say something in there's a lie, but probably the whole structure of it, the whole like framework of it is true. But that's where the lie is. It's somewhere in that one. That's okay. Final answer. That's what I'm gonna say.
Jensen.
I'm gonna say it's the first one, It wasn't weeks, it was months. Because I know how scared you are of that still.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know it wasn't years because I remember you talking about that a little while after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say months.
Okay.
The first one was the lie, but not because I put it down for months.
Ah.
Because I didn't put it down. I just started a new game.
Oh,
What an interesting way to
fantastic.
deal with it.
Yeah, because I was like, I love this game so much, but I cannot continue with this level.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
That's pretty
Good
good.
show, Erin. I think
you.
she
I'm just
wins.
gonna start over and give
Yeah.
yourself some more time to get to the level again. That was smart.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, Erin wins.
I think Erin wins, yeah.
I mean, you won too. Basically, the only person who didn't win here was me. But, but I knew that was gonna happen.
You get the booby prize.
I've never been good at this game.
You get that skiing
No, I
mystic.
don't. That belongs to Erin.
She'll lend it to you.
Okay. And now we have another question from a friend.
Woo!
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Raquel and her adorable fur friend Dante, who is very handsome and loves to give lots of kisses.
Skinny
He's-
pup.
He's a cute puppy. Yeah. So Raquel and Dante would like to know about Xbox versus PlayStation. And you know, she's in a situation where she's gonna buy a console, basically, you know, living out on her own and wanting to get more games and be able to play more. And I think a lot of people are kind of in this situation. I was in this situation just a few years ago where I had never really had a game console of my own because I always lived in a house with either you guys, with like my sisters and my family, or with roommates who had consoles. And so I just never worried about buying my own until I suddenly found myself like alone and I had to choose. And so she wants to know what we think about getting a PlayStation 4 versus getting an Xbox One, because right now she's kind of weighing out their options. And so when I was in this exact situation a couple of years ago, I ended up going with Xbox One over PlayStation 4. And as I've been thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I did that purely because at the time I was more comfortable playing on, it was your Xbox.
You played Outlast.
Yeah, I played Outlast on your Xbox and I had gotten really comfortable with the controller, and I just kind of couldn't imagine playing with another controller. And I liked the setup, and so I decided that I was going to go with an Xbox One because I basically, that was it. That was like the only reason. And since then, though, I have gotten more used to the PlayStation 4 to the point that I decided I wanted to buy my own, which once again, I was just borrowing yours for a long time. Yeah. And I decided I wanted to buy my own, and I think I do prefer the PlayStation 4 now. But I still really love the Xbox. There's still certain things about it that I just really appreciate. I do think that I kind of slightly prefer the PlayStation controller now. But the thing about the Xbox controller is it reminds me quite a lot of like the old N64 controller, except that it makes sense. Like, so it's got that sort of nostalgic vibe to it. And I kind of like a lot of the interactive qualities on Xbox One more than PlayStation. I don't know why. I think I've just had overall more of a positive experience when it comes to like co-op and that kind of stuff with games on Xbox One than I have with PlayStation 4. And PlayStation 4 I tend to like for a lot more of their story-driven games. Like a lot of my favorite games of all time are actually PlayStation exclusives, but they're not necessarily the kind of games that I'm going to play with other people. So I would say that between the two of them, right now, I prefer PlayStation 4 just because those are the types of games I'm playing. But they're both really good options. Like, honestly, I don't feel like you can necessarily make an incorrect choice there. There are some really amazing PlayStation exclusives, though. And, like, that has to factor in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, some of my favorite games are PlayStation exclusives. So, like, I needed to get a PlayStation. It was a little, to the point that it was a little ridiculous that I was still, like, borrowing yours.
Yeah.
When some of my very favorite games were only on PlayStation.
Yeah. For me, I absolutely love both consoles. I kind of think that certain games belong on certain consoles, and that's why for me, I felt like I always need to have all the consoles if I want to have like a well-rounded collection, because I can't just like, if I had just one system, I couldn't just be like, oh, well, I'll just get that game even though it feels like it belongs on that other system. The main reason I got a PlayStation 4, I started with Xbox because the first game that I wanted by the time I had money and was able to get an Xbox, the first game that I wanted to get for it was Fallout 4, and I've always felt like the Fallout games belong on Xbox. It just didn't feel right to get it on PlayStation. So I started with that one. And then the main reason I got a PlayStation was because they finally released Rise of the Tomb Raider on PlayStation. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get that for Xbox. Tomb Raider belongs on PlayStation. So I just kind of feel like certain games need their systems, like the specific systems. And they kind of just have to figure it out from there. But overall, I think that I do like PlayStation a little bit more. Mainly just because I think the controller is more comfortable. They're both really comfortable controllers. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to say Xbox is an uncomfortable controller. No way. Yeah. But PlayStation, I feel like I've gotten to that like zen point where like I feel totally connected to my character. And I think it's because of the controller. Mm-hmm. But as far as like things I think Xbox has over PlayStation, I've had far fewer problems just trying to load up the store and my own profile on Xbox. On PlayStation, every time I want to look at the store, I've got to like load it up and then I got to wait like 3 or 4 minutes while it loads. And if I want to just like trying to change my ID yesterday, loaded up my profile and it like sat there loading it forever before it like brought up the thing, and then I had to select a whole different thing and go to another page, and then I had to go to another page just to get to the ID, and I had to restart it because the connection wasn't strong enough for it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what the deal is with PlayStation. It can't load up these simple things like the store and my profile. Yeah. But also, I was talking with our friend from Kung Fu, Dan. He recommends the Xbox One X over the PlayStation Pro for graphics quality. He said that they recently got an Xbox One X, and he's just, like, even on their 1080p TV, he sees a huge difference. Really? Yeah. Huh. So, yeah, I think it comes down to, like, PlayStation, more comfortable overall. Mm-hmm. Xbox One X, better graphics, mm-hmm. and fewer store problems. So, yeah.
And honestly, I haven't had a lot of store problems recently. So maybe, but I know I did in the past. Yeah. So, I don't know. Could be I'm just having good luck lately. But, so I also like Ailsa. We had an Xbox One for the longest time. And then got the Nintendo Switch when it came out, and for a while I just wasn't playing games. Like, I just didn't have anything new and exciting that I was interested in playing, and so I just didn't really play for a long time, like until Breath of the Wild came out, and like I beat that pretty quick, and then I didn't have anything to do again. And so, yeah, like, there was just this big lull in between my game playing, and also, like, we have had the worst luck with Xbox connecting online, like, playing online with people, and, like, loading stuff, and sometimes just even turning the console on. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but we bought an Xbox One, and then a while later we bought an Xbox One Slim. So, like, brand new console, same problems. So I'm like, I really am having a hard time with Microsoft right now. Like, I kind of hate them at the moment. But then we got a PS4 Pro and I started playing games again. Like, I have been going nonstop. So, like, personally, like, my bias against Microsoft right now aside, I think PlayStation has a lot more options and variety, like, as far as their exclusives go, like you guys were saying. Like, I don't know what exclusives Xbox has right now, like new exclusives.
Honestly, doesn't have very many
It doesn't,
right now.
yeah,
That's
it
why
really
people are
doesn't.
so excited about the possibility of Fable 4, because that
Oh.
one, I mean, it probably would be an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah. But
should
yeah,
be.
I mean,
All the others were.
I mean, just as far as getting started, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, Uncharted, Spider-Man, like those are just 4, and they're all completely different from each other. So that's a huge variety, and you'll have a lot of games to get started on, and you'll have plenty of time to expand your collection. So I would go with the PlayStation for your first console.
I can see that. I do really love my Xbox still. Like, I know you've had lots of problems with it, and I've even had a couple of problems. I mean, there was the 50 hours of Dragon Age Inquisition that I lost with my last console because it couldn't connect to the internet.
Oh my goodness.
And then it decided that it was going to overwrite my cloud save with the one that was on the Xbox when it finally got connected again. But even so, I still really love my Xbox.
Yeah.
For at least like when you're playing a game and then you switch to the menu and you start doing stuff in the menu, it doesn't get hung up. And that, for me, is really nice because I get distracted easily and will be like, I just want to go look at this thing in the store really fast. Like, I'll do that constantly when I'm playing. I'll just be like going on and then I'll be like, wait, how much is that DLC? And then I'll go look at it. And on Xbox, I can do that really easily and then go right back to my game.
Yeah.
On PlayStation, it's a whole big ordeal and it takes like a half an hour, and a lot of times I'll get frustrated and just quit.
Yeah.
And then look it up on my phone later.
Yeah.
Like, but I do think PlayStation has like quite a bit more games, and like in my mind, because I have my idea of like certain games belong on certain consoles, PlayStation has a lot more exclusives in my brain.
Yeah.
But
especially if you want to play Devil May Cry, because the buttons on Xbox are so bubbly and hard that it takes longer to register. And yeah, PlayStations are much closer to the controller.
Devil May Cry belongs on PlayStation anyway. Why are people playing it on Xbox?
Well, exactly.
It's always a PlayStation game.
Because it became an option and people got excited. And I made the mistake of buying it on Xbox, and I hate myself for it because the buttons are so hard to press.
Erin, it's a PlayStation game.
I felt weird about
like
playing
Tomb Raider.
Bayonetta. I felt weird about playing Bayonetta on Xbox, but I was just like, well, it's free.
Yeah, if it's free, that's the only time I'll ever break my like.
If you got a free
certain
copy
things
on the
with-
other console,
yeah, then I'll get it on there. But like,
then it's like I'll adapt.
yeah, like I have Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, I think it's called, the Black Flag DLC, the standalone thing. I have that on PlayStation because it was free. But like that's the only time they'll ever break that, because certain games belong on certain consoles because it'll feel better with the controller. Driving games should always be PlayStation. First-person shooters should mostly be Xbox. I would say always, but Far Cry belongs on PlayStation.
I have one rule.
It's like a first-person shooter, but it's also like a first-person RPG. I think first-person RPGs work on PlayStation for some reason, because Kingdom Come, I can't picture that on Xbox. It just doesn't register.
Yeah.
I have like there's weird stuff going on in my brain, you guys. I wish I could just like show it to you all, and then you'd be like, oh, I understand why you're so weird.
I have like a hard time explaining why I think one game belongs on one system and one game belongs on another system, but I do feel pretty strongly about a few of them.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I think you asked me whether I was gonna get Devil May Cry on Xbox or PlayStation, and I was like,
oh no, I never asked you that. I asked you that.
PlayStation.
I asked you that about Sekiro.
Oh, it was Sekiro.
Yeah,
that's
because
right.
Sekiro, I was like, I could see you getting it on either one.
Yeah, well, because I played all the Dark Souls games on Xbox, but then Bloodborne, obviously, is a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah,
and I
that's
felt
why
like
I didn't know.
I felt like the gameplay was going to be closer to what I'd experienced with Bloodborne than what I'd experienced with Dark Souls, which is probably why I gravitated immediately towards PlayStation with that one.
Yeah.
But
that's why she bought her PlayStation.
But Devil May Cry was the game that I just never even considered getting it on Xbox.
I didn't even know it was on Xbox until Erin said it like 5 minutes ago.
Like
I had to kind of I had to kind of walk through it mentally with Sekiro and come up with the reason why I was getting it on PlayStation 4. But with Devil May Cry, I didn't come up with a reason. I just immediately was like, I'm obviously not getting that on Xbox.
Yeah.
Like that needs to be on PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the only reason I did is because we only had an Xbox at the time, and I was feeling like serious nostalgia for Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
So I like to blame the controller for the fact that I suck at it now, but it's probably just because I haven't played it in years.
If you want to go back to the first one, my PlayStation, I just got it working again.
Ooh.
It like reads discs again.
Nice.
I finally beat Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. I was going to talk about that. I forgot.
Yeah.
I finally beat it after like 10 years, I think.
Turns out she was like 3 minutes from the end.
All I had to do was walk through the door into the Great Hall, and then they would announce the House Cup winner, and then there was a movie scene, and then there wasn't even credits.
Oh my gosh.
And I was so angry. I was like, are you kidding me?
I waited 10 years for this.
I know.
I walked
And
in
I
and
just
saw you playing it, and I was like, oh, fun.
It's just because the PlayStation stopped reading it. And then I found there was like a setting you can turn on that makes it like work harder to make sure the eye is aligned to read discs that have problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so now my PlayStation is working fine again.
Hey.
So if you want to play Devil May Cry again,
Yes.
we should do that. We should just play some Devil May Cry.
Yes.
Good.
We should do
Yes.
some
That's
blast from the past gaming.
Yes.
Like I can totally break out the N64 and you can break out the PlayStation. And we can even maybe the Super Nintendo since we got one of those.
Oh
we should just do
Sega
like
Genesis.
Sega Genesis. We should just do like a retro gaming day.
That would be so much fun.
That would be really fun.
Okay.
Turns out I needed to do research.
Oh,
Which is funny because last episode you're like, Erin never has to do research. She just gets she doesn't say anything unless she knows.
Erin, you have failed
I
us.
have failed this podcast. It's pronounced Lucia from Devil May Cry 2, not Lucia. My bad, everyone. I'm a stupid American.
I actually heard that at the time and knew you had gotten it wrong, but I just didn't say anything.
I didn't worry about it because I was just like, close enough. Was it when we were watching YouTube videos and I said Lucia de Lammermoor?
Is that when you realized?
I don't think so.
Oh,
interesting.
Honestly, I think I thought about it in the moment, but I was like, I don't know. So,
it's like my favorite opera is Lucia de Lammermoor.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It's really lovely.
So, I'm sorry, everyone.
Erin,
I'll be better next time.
Erin, go home.
I am home.
Yeah, we should go home. We should leave Erin here in her castle.
Oh my gosh, it's past midnight, you guys!
I have to go to work in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I have to
crap.
go play some Far Cry New Dawn before I go to sleep. She just looks like she wants to murder me.
Smile glare, smile glare.
Okay.
That's where we should end it.
So, this is Princess in Another Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll come back at some point. We don't have a set schedule yet, I'm sorry. I know, it's really
One of
awkward.
these days.
One of these days.
And watch out for our YouTube videos.
Yeah, whenever we do those.
There will be more of them.
There will be more of
We
them.
gotta get Erin.
Fist bump.
I was gonna punch your shoulder, but
I did, they're just fighting now.
it's late.
I did a video review on Hellblade, and Erin is going to do some Let's Play stuff with Bioshock. She did a little trailer for that. Yeah. And then Jensen did a monstrously long retelling of Jupiter Ascending that we cut down to something more palatable. I think it's like 20 minutes, right?
And I'm working on, and I'm working on The Room from memory.
Yeah.
Which should be much shorter because there is a lot that I didn't remember.
Yeah, well, there's not a whole lot to...
There's not a whole lot there.
Not a lot that happens.
I didn't even remember the order in which any of the scenes went. It's just like, here are the scenes I remember. They go in an order.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, no set schedule yet. We'll come up with one eventually. That's going to be hard to edit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Let's just cut all of that out. Let's just end it. I'm tired. Okay. Okay, so we talked about potentially doing like a bi-monthly thing, but we have not nailed that down. And I would apologize, but
It's my
I
fault.
already have, and it's mostly Jensen's fault anyway, so.
As far as recording goes, we're pretty regular.
Oh, yeah,
but,
we're good on recording.
Releasing the episodes.
It's not even the editing that's the problem, because we usually get the editing done like a day or two after we record. It's the releasing part that's the problem.
And like the only person who needs to work on that is Jensen, because she's the only one who can release the episode,
Well,
because I'm kind of tied up.
Well, the thing is that now because of my internship, most days I'm not there at the time that I would release it.
I know.
And so it makes it difficult.
Whatever. we'll
And then
figure
by the
it out.
time I get home, you're usually already home.
It's not really that important. I'm just we'll get this.
We'll get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're on Stitcher now.
Oh yeah, we're on all the podcast things. We're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes, we're on YouTube.
And SoundCloud.
And SoundCloud, yeah.
That's all the podcast things.
There's probably more, but those are the ones that we're on.
I bet there are some on Spotify,
Yeah,
but I'm not totally sure.
there
what
are.
that is.
I forgot about Spotify. I don't use Spotify for podcasts, but I know that they have them.
I don't use Spotify at all.
Really?
I don't either.
Oh.
Use
I don't
Apple
have enough
Music.
room on my phone to download new things. I had to delete like 3 applications just to get the update for Pokemon Go.
You probably need a new phone.
Yeah, you need a new phone.
This is Princess and another podcast, and Jensen needs a new phone.